Hi guys, I'm Nicola McKenzie, founder and mortgage advisor at DM Mortgages. In today's video, I'll be talking you through how you go about repaying your Help to Buy scheme equity loan. So stay tuned. Now guys, before I get into the detail of today's video, this is only one part of a whole series of videos dedicated to the Help to Buy scheme. So if you want to find out more about the different aspects of the scheme, make sure that you check out the rest of the videos in that series. Now the redemption of your Help to Buy equity loan is actually dealt with by a company called Target. They work as the administrators for Help to Buy. So when I refer to Help to Buy throughout this video, I'm actually talking about Target. Now, repaying your Help to Buy equity loan when the time comes is not a straightforward process. There are lots of things involved. So what I'm doing today, guys, is not explaining every single step in detail of the process. That is why you should get advice if you're thinking of repaying the loan, at least in relation to a mortgage, because if I was to explain every single component, then we would take longer than what we've got in terms of time for a video. But what I have done is put together generic steps on how you go about repaying the loan. And also later on in the video, we'll look at common ways that people use to repay it as well. So let's get into it. Now, the government equity loan that you're taking out as part of the scheme must be repaid in any of the following events. If you reach the end of the loan term is 25 years. If you repay all of your repayment mortgage, so the repayment mortgage is the amount that you will borrow from the bank. Or if you decide to sell your home, you also need to repay the equity loan at that point. Or Help to Buy might ask you to repay the loan in full if you've perhaps not kept up with the rules and regulations of the contract. Now, another key point to bear in mind, guys, is that you don't have to repay all of the equity loan. You can pay off less. But if you're paying off less, you have to repay at least 10% of the market value of the property. And that's using something called staircasing. Now, what I'm talking about in this video is not the process of staircasing. I'm assuming that you are wanting to repay the equity loan in full. So that is the process that I will be explaining. So step one, if you're planning on repaying all of the equity loan, whether that's by using some of the equity in your home, so remortgaging, or if you're looking at selling the property to move to a new property, then the first thing you want to do before you start doing anything else is to get mortgage advice and an agreement in principle, because you want to make sure that the property or that the amount that you need to borrow, is affordable to you and that the figures stack up. So make sure that you get in touch with us for this step, because we can help you and provide an agreement in principle to make sure that those figures stack up. So next, what you need to do is arrange a valuation on the property. Now, a valuation's imperative because remember, guys, this is an equity loan. So you're going to be repaying a percentage of what you borrowed from the government, but it will be based on the market value at the time that you're repaying the loan. So therefore, you need an up-to-date valuation independently, and that has to be done by a RICS surveyor. RICS stands for Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. And when you've got the valuation, then Help to Buy will give you a redemption figure to tell you exactly how much you owe them. Now, a RICS valuation is only going to be valid for 3 months. You need to bear that in mind, and you must complete on the transaction in full within 6 months of the original date of the valuation. Now, once you've successfully submitted a valid valuation report to Help to Buy, you'll receive an estimate, like I say, a redemption figure on exactly how much you owe. Now, the next step is that you would need to instruct a solicitor. Now, in order to repay your Help to Buy loan, you have to involve a solicitor in the process. And depending on timescales, then it may be something that you instruct early on, but you may want to wait. If you're looking at remortgaging to repay the equity loan, then it might make sense to wait until your mortgage is approved before doing it. Again, just to make sure that you're spreading the cost and that you've got certainty that the mortgage has been approved. But there are pros and cons to both options. Again, contact us, we can work through the pros and cons with you. But ultimately, the cost of a solicitor is going to be dependent on that particular solicitor, depending on how much work is involved and the complexity of the case. Now, if you're using a mortgage to repay the equity loan, so if you're looking at remortgaging, tapping into some of your equity to finance and repay the loan, then it's worth bearing in mind that we have lots of products that where actually the cost of the solicitors is significantly reduced because the lender appoints their own solicitors. So again, it is worth speaking to us because we can often get reduced solicitor options for you. Now guys, here at DM Mortgages, we're a team of property, mortgage and insurance specialists. We help thousands of clients to arrange their mortgage in relation to buying a new property or reviewing an existing mortgage. We deal with lots of different banks and building societies, from high street names to specialist lenders, looking at thousands of different products to find the best mortgage deal for you. So head over to our website, which is dm.mortgage, and book in for a free of charge appointment today so that we can help you to explain your options and put you on the right tracks to buying your dream property or reviewing an existing mortgage to find you the best deal. And of course, if you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Now the next step is to complete the redemption process. So once you've got the valuation, you know exactly how much you owe, then you would complete what's called the loan redemption form, and you would also have to pay Help to Buy an admin fee of £200. And now might also be a good time that you would, if you're looking at remortgaging to repay the Help to Buy loan, that you would be applying to the lender in order to do that. Now the next step is the redemption letter stage. So on receipt of your loan redemption form, the administration fee and the valuation, then Help to Buy will produce a letter that gets sent to you and your solicitor, again to show what the estimate repayment figure is based on that valuation. Now the next stage, you'd hope that your mortgage has been approved if you're doing the remortgage route, but ultimately the next step is what's called legal undertaking. So at least 15 working days prior to the expected completion date, so the completion date is when it will all be done and dusted, then your solicitor must provide what's called a legal undertaking to Help to Buy by email. Now where in some instances there may not be sufficient funds to be able to settle the equity loan and the interest payments that are applicable to it, then you would have to come to an agreement with Help to Buy to say how you're going to bridge the shortfall. They are not going to give you authority to complete the process unless all outstanding amounts have been settled. The next step is the authority to complete. So within 5 days of receipt of the undertaking from the solicitor, or on completion of confirming any additional payment arrangements if there are a shortfall, then the Help to Buy would issue what's called an authority to complete, and that is basically consent that you can now go ahead and complete the transaction. And then the final step, guys, is completion. So your solicitor would be responsible for sending through the monies to Help to Buy to redeem the equity loan, and on receipt of that money, then you would own 100% of the property and your equity loan is paid off. So now you understand what the process is step by step to repay the loan. Now I want to look at ways that you can pay off the loan. So if you're trying to repay the equity loan in full, the amount that you'll have to pay is the higher out of either the price you sold the house for if you're looking at selling the property, or the market value of the property determined by the RICS valuation that you would have got in one of the earlier steps. Now, generally speaking, there are 3 common ways that most people will use to repay the loan. They will look at remortgaging. So if you bought the property, the value of the property is increased, you can tap into some of the equity potentially, depending on affordability, but you can tap into some of the equity in order to repay what you originally borrowed. Now, and once you do that, if you do that and decide to repay in full, from that point onward, you own 100% of the property and the Help to Buy loan is no longer. The second common way that people use to repay the loan is by using savings or other capital, whether that's a gifted deposit or however you can fund it, then that's also a common way. And then the third way to repay the loan is usually done by selling the property. Now, it's also worth me mentioning that you can repay the equity loan at any time. So from when your property purchase completes, you're able to repay at any point within that 25-year term. Now guys, remember that the nature of how an equity loan works is that the percentage you'll have to repay is based on the market value at the time of repaying the loan. So if you originally took out a 20% loan at the time of purchasing the property, then you would have to repay 20% of the value of the property when you come to repay it. So the point I'm making is that you could potentially end up paying back more or less than you originally borrowed. This depends on the house price. If it's risen, you'll pay back more. If it's fallen, you'll potentially pay back less. So there you have it, guys. If, of course, you're looking at using a remortgage to repay your equity loan, or you're looking at selling the house to buy a new one, so therefore you need a mortgage for your onward purchase, whatever your circumstances are, then get in touch and book in for a free of charge appointment, because we deal with help to buy, non-help to buy. We deal with lots of high street lenders and specialist lenders as well to compare thousands of products and find you the best mortgage deal. And also make sure that you check out the rest of the videos in this series, because this is only one of a full part of help to buy videos. Of course, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any future video uploads from me, and I'll see you in the next one.